Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your rainy day. It's the lesson that you've all been waiting for. Just a little review lesson on combining like terms. Starring this guy. Now, I told you that my art skills are legendary. By legendary, I mean bad. So we're going to have him lassoing our like terms. Let's give him a little lasso here. Here. And make a loop. There you go. So he's going to lasso his like terms together on his ranch. And we're going to see how he does that so that we do it right. So here goes nothing. So here is our cowboy. We can give him a name if you want to. We'll call him Cowboy Bob. Bob needs a new hat, but that's beside the point. So Bob's on his ranch, and he has his little terms hanging out. He's got some X's, and he's got some Y's, and he's got some X squareds, and he's got some Y squareds, and he has some XY's, and he's got all of these things floating around. And his job as a rancher, as a responsible rancher, is going to be to get all of his like terms together. Okay, so there they are, all wandering around his ranch, all mixed up. So Rancher Bob is going to have to get his like terms grouped together. So let's see where we want him to start. So let's get our lasso out. And he says, looks like I've got some XY's down there. So I'm going to lasso those together. All right. So he's got those together. They're now separated from everybody else. Okay. So good for them. Then he says, well, wait a minute. Now I have some other things that need to be separated. So let's look at these X's up here. All the way up here. Let's lasso those X's and get those put together. But Rancher Bob's not through yet. He gets out his another lasso and he says, oh, let's look here. I've got some X squareds. I'm going to lasso those together. Now, he thought about it for a minute. He almost lassoed his X's with his X squareds. But he said, well, they look a little bit different. So he couldn't exactly decide if they went together. So he decided if it's going just to be on the safe side, he was going to keep his X squareds separate from his regular X's. Good choice. Good choice, Rancher Bob. All right. So now, it looks like he's got some Y's to take care of. But he's got the same problem here. These are Y's and these are Y squareds. So I think what he's going to do is he's going to decide to leave those separate too, because that's got a 2 there and that doesn't. And we really can't lasso things together that don't look alike, because that's just not fair. And the last lasso goes around his Y squareds. Now, Rancher Bob says, okay, I've got to decide what to do and count up all the things that I have on my ranch. So, let's start with these guys right here. All right, so it looks like there's 2 of those. So we have 2 X's. Okay. And then it looks like we have, so we've got those done. Check. All right, it looks like here in the green lasso, we have 2 Y's. So I'm going to write that down. All right, over here in this other dark green lasso, we have X squareds. We've got 2 of those also. All right, in the middle of the blue, we have 2 of those Y squareds. Then last but not least, in our first lasso, our brown lasso, we had an XY. Oh, no we didn't. We don't have one XY. We have two XYs. And I think Rancher Bob did a great job of separating everything correctly. But now that he has that separated correctly, we're going to want him to write that in what we call standard form, which means that we're going to start with the biggest exponent in alphabetical order, and we're going to work our way down. So we have 2x squareds we have 2y squareds, we have 2x's, 2y's, and 2xy's. So now, Rancher Bob is pretty happy. He's got all of his terms grouped together on his ranch. They're all in the right order. And life is good on the ranch. So thank you for listening to my story about Rancher Bob and his combining of like terms. I'm going to be sending out some con exercises so you can practice this yourself. Because, hey, we all want to be like Rancher Bob, correct? So have a great weekend. Stay dry, stay safe, wash those hands, and I will see you very soon.